when you're doing heavy weighted pull-ups, the forearms, the brachialis, the biceps, everything is generating force for you to get that weight from A to B. Now, if I'm just doing typical body weight repetitions, no load, very low intensity, I could
none of y'all stopping me, don't need the axe. Chopping trees, planting seeds, plotting schemes, crossing I's, dotting T's. Lines are blurred, I cannot see. Before I die, I'm top 3. Before I die, I'm top 3.
He's telling me how many reps I gotta do. Okay. Okay. What is going on, YouTube? You are back with the Prez. You already know, out here in Juniper Park today. Today's not gonna be a workout video for you guys. I'm gonna be teaching you guys the benefits and the purpose of low rep training. And before I get into that and dive into details and everything, I want to mention one thing. Remember, hypertrophy, meaning muscle growth, happens across a wide range of rep ranges. Studies have proven that you could build muscle with reps as low as 5 all the way up to the 30 rep range. Given, remember, this is the key principle here, that the set is taken close to failure, if not to failure. Failure meaning you're literally not going to be able to get out another repetition. Now remember, like I said, this video is going to teach you guys about the benefit of low rep training. Low reps we're going to classify today falling between 3 and 8 reps. Now remember this, guys, everybody, men, women, young, old, our bodies are made of only 2 types of muscle fibers. We have type 1 muscle fibers and type 2 muscle fibers. Type 2 muscle fibers can be broken down into type 2A and B style, right? Just because some of the type 2 fibers can build a little more endurance and the other fibers are going to be more prone to, building in size, increasing the cross-sectional area of the fiber, increasing the actual fiber size and density, which in turn builds a bigger, stronger muscle. Now, again, like I said, that could be done, meaning you could break the muscle down and have it grow bigger in those type 2 fibers from reps from 5 to 30. But like I said, we're going to keep it talking about rep ranges from 3 to 8 right now, which is going to tend to be on that lower volume spectrum of rep ranges. Now, remember this, guys, we got compound movements, isolation movements. Compound movements, you could think pull-ups, dips, push-ups. Pretty much every calisthenic movement is a compound movement, and compound movement can be classified as a multi-joint exercise. A single arm or a single joint or an isolation exercise is just that. It's a single joint movement. So a calisthenic single joint movement would be something like me doing ring curls, even though my whole core is engaged. And same thing with body, if we're bodybuilding and we're doing, curls with a dumbbell or a barbell, our body still has to be tense, right? But we're only moving and flexing from the elbow joint. Same thing if I was doing bodyweight ring curls, with my feet fixed, just like that, right? That would be an isolation movement, calisthenic style. But you'll notice now, when it comes to compound movements such as pull-ups, dips, when you're just starting out, everything's naturally going to be falling in that lower rep range. Why is that? It's because it's new to you, and most people, when something is new, it's hard. And when something's hard, you cannot do it for a lot of repetitions. So, for instance, let's break this down. Low rep range benefits of that training. Like I said, you got type 1 and type 2 muscle fibers. Now, type 2 fibers are the muscle fibers that are responsible for building stronger and bigger muscles in general. That's because they're the muscle fibers that are responsible for force production and speed and power. I've talked about this many times. You guys get stronger by getting faster and more powerful. You see me repping heavy weighted pull-ups, I'm not focusing on a mind-muscle connection. I'm focusing on moving that weight from point A to point B as fast as possible, generating tension and force from whatever muscle fibers are coming into recruitment for that movement, right? Now, if I was just to do regular body weight pull-up reps, which I've built up to the capacity to do high rep ranges. I could do 25 plus rep ranges. And like I said, that would still produce muscle building benefits for me, but that would be considered a high rep range. Because in order for me to get fatigued in that high rep range, I have to go through an X amount of reps first. But now if I throw on 90 pounds, I'm only gonna be able to pull out maybe 5 reps max. Why? Because from rep 1, it's gonna be hard. So from when the sets are hard, you're gonna automatically be stimulating initially those type 2 muscle fibers, and you're going to bypass all that what we call junk volume and the stimulation of the type 1 muscle fibers, which are the endurance fibers. So the benefits of low rep training is, again, the main thing is you get to do a lot less repetitions for just as much benefit in muscle building as if you're doing a set of 20 or 30. Now again, remember, it's always going to come down to intensity. Low rep ranges are going to have higher intensities. If I'm in the gym and I'm deadlifting heavy weight, if I have 315 on the bar, that's a high intensity for me, right? I'll probably only get maybe 3 to 5 reps. But now if I took that 315 off and made the bar 135 pounds, that dramatic decrease in intensity, now I can do that 135 for sets of 20 or 30, right? Because the intensity is what makes the difference of the exercise. And you wouldn't be doing isolation movements with that much load, because now an isolation movement are the movements that you're going to want to stick to more of that higher rep range, which we'll save for another video, and we'll talk about the benefits of higher rep ranges in another video and their purpose in training. So low reps, remember, it makes you bypass the junk volume. All the reps are going to be productive repetitions. From rep 1 until you fail around that 6 to 8 rep mark, those type 2 muscle fibers are going to be stimulated from the get-go. You're going to be creating a lot of tension each set, high mechanical tension, meaning high load. The muscles and the fibers are going to be under a lot of stress from the initial first repetition. Now, if I also drop on the floor and do a set of bodyweight push-ups, the first 50 reps, they're going to have pretty much very low stress on my muscular system. But then when I get to maybe rep 60, rep 70, the reps are going to slow down. My body's now going to start calling on those type 2 muscle fibers, but I had to go through 50, 60 reps prior. Now, if I was to throw a person on my back and drop down and did push-ups, I won't probably do more than 6 to 8 reps, right? So from rep 1, the speed isn't there. From rep 1, it's like a struggle. And when you're struggling, that's when you're producing those type 2 fibers, and that's when you're going to get the most growth out of it. So low rep training, it's going to allow you to do a lot less total volume overall to produce a much similar effect as doing 20 to 30 repetitions. And some would call it more productive repetitions as well, because those low rep training with that heavy load, it produces a different type of muscle stimulus as well. Now we're getting just straight type 2 muscle fiber engagement and failure. Remember, like I said in the beginning, the key thing, regardless if you're hitting 5 reps or 30 reps, is that set has to be hard enough where you're coming close enough to failure, meaning you would maybe even have 1 to 2 reps max left in the tank, or you're literally failing and you have 0 reps left. Those are the effective reps. So if I have on 90-pound pulls, rep 1 I'm going to get, rep 2 I'm going to get, but they're going to be slow. I'm not going to be speed pulling them, right? Because I'm going to be generating a lot of force and a lot of tension is going to be on those fibers. Rep 3 is going to get really slow. I'm going to really grind for that rep. Rep 4, rep 5, they're going to be a struggle. I have to dead stop, breathe, squeeze, come right down. Not focusing on any eccentrics, just dropping down, letting that load drop, and then pulling back as quickly as possible, right? When I have that force generated inside to produce that load to get over the bar. So low rep training, remember, you're going to get a high stimulus to fatigue. Oh, you're going to get, that's the thing. Remember, when you're doing heavy weight like that, the nervous system also will get stressed a little more. The nervous system is the first thing that's going to adapt to that high stimulus. Your nervous system is going to get used to training with those loads. You're going to get, so if you're just a body weight guy and you only do body weight reps, if you go to do a weighted rep, you're going to shake a lot, right? You see that a lot in calisthenics. The shaking, like I talked about, and that can happen with body weight reps, that's the nervous system firing up. That's the nervous system saying, damn, I'm not used to this. You give in to that, there's no adaptations that happen. You fight through that shake for a little bit, you struggle through those hard reps, that's where the adaptation happens, right? So, if you guys are looking to produce, again, remember, like that hard, granite, muscular look, because as the reps gets higher, what else is happening in the body is that there's more metabolic processes happening. You're building up more lactic acid in the body. You're producing more metabolites. That all happens with higher rep training. With low rep training, you don't get that lactic acid burn. You're not focusing on the eccentrics. The sets are done, literally, like I said, if you're doing a set of 8 hard repetitions, max that set is gonna take you 30 to 35 seconds. You do a set of 15 controlled, slow tempo body weight push-ups, that set's gonna take you 60 plus seconds. The amount of lactic acid that builds up in that 60-second mark is going to be a lot greater than that 30-second mark. And that's if you're falling in the 8 rep range. If you're closer to that 3 to 5 or 3 to 6, that set's going to be done in 15 to 20 seconds. No lactic acid buildup. You're literally straight burning through ATP and creatine. You don't need a high demand for carbohydrates either when you're doing low volume training. Now, don't get it twisted. If you're doing a full body workout, squatting, pressing, pushing, pulling, and everything is low volume, yes, it's going to be a very glycogen demanding load on the body. But if I was just to say I'm going to come in today and do 5 sets of weighted pull-ups, 5 sets of 2 reps with a 5-minute break, that is not going to call for a big glycogen load. That's going to call every set straight on ATP and phosphocreatine. So the low rep range training, it also calls on different energy systems. If that set is only full, in that 15 to 20 second mark, you don't really need a high demand for carbohydrates unless you do multiple sets, 10 plus sets. But if you're doing 3 to 5 sets, which is typical for strength training with 3 to 5 minute breaks, again, you're not going to have a high glycogen load demanding on that muscle at all. You could literally go into that workout fasted. You could go into that workout on a high fat, high protein diet and perform just as well, maybe even better due to the increase in testosterone from higher fats. But this isn't a diet video and we're not going to get into that either. So remember, there is different types of training. Low rep training will produce a different stimulus to the body than high rep training. You're both going to get muscle building effects. Some will say the low reps are going to build that hard, denser muscle, and some will say the high reps are going to build that more puffy, blown up muscle due to the fact that you get the metabolites and all that lactic acid build up, and you're building up more mitochondria. But like I said, I'll talk about high rep training and when to utilize that in another video. So think about low rep training, right? I wouldn't go on a tricep push down in the gym, stack up 150 pounds and only do 3 reps, right? Because that's a single joint movement. Those low reps are geared more towards compound movements where you could call on and recruit a lot of muscles in general. Even though a pull-up, you want to primarily work the lats and the back, when you're doing heavy weighted pull-ups, the forearms, the brachialis, the biceps, everything is generating force for you to get that weight from A to B. Now, if I'm just doing typical body weight repetitions, no load, very low intensity, I could hang, retract, pull slow, think about just pulling with the lats, try to take the forearms, the biceps out of it. Control. That's, again, I can make the reps hard enough body weight, slow like that, where I'm still gonna fall in that 3 to 5 rep range. But remember, in order for me to hit 3 to 5 reps like that, the set is still gonna take long, because each rep is gonna be about a 10-second rep. So if I'm doing 10-second body weight pull-ups, I can make the rep range fall in that lower volume of rep range training. But the overall time under tension is more in that hypertrophy bodybuilding zone, equivalent to doing higher rep ranges. So the stimulus effect for building strength would not be the same as if I loaded up 90 pounds and tried to pull out 5 reps. So again, it's totally different energy systems that are being called upon, total different recruitment of the muscle fibers. So I hope this video gave you guys a little breakdown and understanding of the benefits of low rep training. And remember, like I said, you want to focus on compound movements, whether you're in the gym, calisthenics. So calisthenics, heavy weights. You're going to be heavy weighted sets with low reps. You're going to be focusing on weighted pulls and weighted dips, weighted push-ups, weighted pistol squats, right? In the gym, bench pressing, overhead pressing, bent over rows, barbell squatting, movements like that. And then when you go on a machine, a machine row, you're not really focusing on that 3 to 5 rep range. You very rarely see anybody getting on a seated row machine and just going 3 reps and letting it go, right? You'll see them doing that with a bent over barbell row or a T-bar row, heavy load. But when that cable or those weight stacks are, involved and you're on a machine and your body's stable, no core stability, single joint exercises, that's when the rep ranges stay for higher. All right, guys. Like I said, compound movements, keep those for when you want to build max strength. Keep those rep ranges low. You're going to not only build strength, so that's one other thing I didn't mention, besides the low rep training being also excellent for building muscle. In that low rep training, you're also going to be more teetering on building strength each session as well. Because we could do sets of 12 to 15, and we could just stay at 60 pounds. This week I did 3 sets of 12. Next week I'm going to go to 3 sets of 13. Then I'm going to go to 3 sets of 14, 3 sets of 15. Now with that low rep training, I could go 3 sets of 5 and 90. All right, let's move up to 95. 3 sets of 3, 3 sets of 5. Then we move up again. So, the volume is lower, the progressions, you could jump in weight heavier, and you can just remember, because it's all about what you're trying to recruit, what the overall goal is. But once you start falling under that 3 rep range, really, like I said, the studies show under 5 reps, but you're in that 3 rep range, specifically 1 to 3, then it's really going to be predominantly strength training. You're not going to get a high muscle building stimulus unless, again, you're doing multiple sets, 10 sets of 3, 10 sets of 1, because you still want to have a sufficient amount of overall repetitions for muscle building. So remember, 3 sets of 5 that's still 15 reps. 3 sets of 3 is only 9 reps. You see what I'm saying? The volume is still going to be high, and the intensity still stays high with a set of 5. So, like I said, I hope this gave you guys a little insight of the benefits of low rep training, how to utilize your low rep training in your routine. And again, if you guys have more of a strength goal or more of like a granite, hard-looking physique goal, try low rep training out, and don't do it forever. Stay in a block, 2 months, maybe 3. Then you jump out of it for a few weeks, go into a higher rep range style of training. Because one thing about low reps, like I said when I was training, if you're not staying on top of your conditioning and all you're doing is going in there to lift heavy, you're going to be resting longer than you're working in your sets, and your cardiovascular and your anaerobic endurance is going to have a drop off. Keep that in mind, guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comment section. Like the video, it helps the algorithm out. You're not subscribed yet, smash that subscribe button. Like always, guys, leave a comment or a question. I'll get back to you guys in the comment section. I appreciate all the support. Peace out. Barnaturals.
No sad story, I ain't here for a symphony, no sympathy. When I was on the bench, you wouldn't sit with me. Now I'm on the court and I'm balling, my time's coming.